Now I'm going to move on. Our Thursday, it would be a lecture of our smart things security. And in our smart things security study, like recap about the possible threats and then the vulnerability in the IoT devices. And I will just introduce what the possible of course, I recap about what's IoT significance and then what the possible security challenge that it face, and then what the common IoT and vulnerabilities. Okay. And then we dive into some key vulnerabilities, such as what's the default passwords, some insecure APIs, and lack of the encryption. So mainly will be three types like this. And then we will look at some real world IoT attacks. So how can we examine those notable IoT security branches like the real botnet or smart home vulnerabilities. Okay. And then next will be how about those vulnerability scanning and penetrating testing. So what are the possible tools and then and techniques we are going to use? Okay, and later will be like for the IoT lab scanning. So I will giving you all these lab, but because it is a lecture part, so I'm not doing it. And hopefully for the later, if you're able to set up all the Raspberry Pi, like if you follow, then we can pick up some of the lab, so we can do it. Okay. And so we just recap is a physical device over the IoT, so with all those sensor software. Okay, so and other techniques, so allow them to connect and exchange data over the internet. So it's a kind of it. And then lots of different type of IoT devices that we mentioned before. Then why is security so important? We know it exists because we will is going the attack surface, because once the number of the connected devices increase, then there's some potential like cyber attack, and also the resources constraint. Since many of the IoT devices they're constrained in terms of processing power, memory, storage, so it makes it really difficult to implement really advanced security measure. So here's the issue, because when they have a constraint like this, then we need to think, okay. And then also one thing is like of the standardization. That's we someone mentioned before in the lecture. So because we come with many manufacturers, so that's why it like uniform security standard. So that's what we know. And then about the IoT exposure, because based on the prediction, maybe by 2025, maybe more than 30 billion IoT devices globally. So you see, so it's the enormous number of data, and then also increase the IoT adoption. Both for IoT one is also for the advancement of the smart city, some some automated vehicles, healthcare, or some etc. So because they are increasing critical to daily life and infrastructure, then that's why it affects. When the security branches cause the consequence, including the privacy violation, because the attacker, so based on through those vulnerability, then they can collect some sensitive personal information, and or we can monitor some private space if we're using the cameras or microphones, so we know all the activities information. That's right. And then operational disruption. So maybe they can take control some critical systems, if those medical device, industrial machine, or some smart grid system, then we have a significant disruption. So that's why here's the problem. Okay. And of course, as well we know, because the financial loss, when we cause using the DDoS attack, and there was still data engaged in fraud. Okay. And then also have some legal or reputation damage, if they fail to secure the IoT devices, then they have some regulation fine, lawsuits, and loss of customer trust, all this. And just imagine if you bought the camera and then they have a security issue. I think pretty long time ago, and the hacker tried to export and share the camera videos like online. So if they able to access it, and here's one of the reason, because those camera, they have the default password, and also they know the backdoor, so the insecure API. So that's why it caused the vulnerability. Okay, and one thing like the key factors that contributing to it, because we have limited resources. These are things, because we have limited computational power, storage, and memory. So it's really hard, because we cannot use really complex security algorithm to prevent it. Just imagine it. Compare with a desktop, maybe your laptop, and the Raspberry Pi. So you see, okay, even a minor is slightly better, but of course, when now because the I say the industry like production is getting more powerful, of course, and but compared with the level, then it's not yet able to meet. And also there's some weak or like some hardcode credentials. So many the devices come with the just like factory set like preset or default password. So easy to get, like I can like admin and then use the password 1 2 3 4 5 password by default. And then when the user adopt those IoT devices, and they barely change the default password. Okay, so here's the reason. And the communication in between the devices and the maybe the data center web server, they are an encrypted channel. Maybe they're using the HTTP instead of the HTTPS. So they're not using a TLS then it makes it easy to like interpret. Okay, and then the lack of regular update. So most of the IoT devices, they do not receive security patch. So after install it, connected, they barely update. That means if some attacker able to figure out, okay, some backdoor vulnerability able to control the devices, but they didn't upgrade their system or OS or firmware, then it will cause susceptible to like exploitation to over the time. So it's like cause a reason. And when we talk about the attack surface, because the hardware, because the physical vulnerability in the devices itself, like including unsecure port. So when we learn cyber security, we know that those ports, like each one of the way let the attacker to access to the devices, and then also some hardware interface. And as what we mentioned, because the firmware only is embedded firmware, so they barely update, and then also exposed to the network, because most of the IoT devices, like maybe even the Raspberry testing, because we will connect to the internet, to the web, but without the adequate protection, then we will kind of like with authentication or like open port, then it's cause the issue. And here's mainly we mentioned one of possible called the default password. So why is so dangerous? Because it's really common issue, because they want to let the user, like customer, after purchase, easily to adopt the device. So they always like comes with the default password. So most of them maybe 1 2 3 4, like probably not admin, whatever. Okay. So everything comes with default, and the user after they adopt it, for increasing of security, maybe they will ask the user to change the default password, but sometimes they still have the default account. Okay, then it's still easy. If you ask the user to change the account name and then password, then we will get it. And then also the attacker can search some default password as a combination using tool or searching engine. Okay, so this one going to be used in the lab. So I would recommend, if you do have a time, and you may try to install it and then later test your Raspberry Pi. Because in the lab, because I need to set up like how to use it, connect, receive data, and then add the extra security. So you can try to find. And when here, so if they can find the password, then they can get the full control over the device. So here's the thing. And then this Maria and Botnet, and then this one attacked 2016. So it just like explored the default credentials like on the IoT devices, like the cameras, the routers. So over 60,000 devices, they were like compromised and then used to launch a DDoS attack. So it caused a really like make so some like maybe some hypothesize maybe Twitter's Reddit or Spotify were taken offline due to the massive traffic generated by the botnet. So when they attacked by the DDoS, okay, we so it's compared with the most of the virtual server simulation. So you can gain almost like 60,000 devices, like you just keep pinging. So it requires less computation, power to send in the ping, like DDoS attack. But you can suddenly gain those like huge amount of device helping you. So this really cause a really serious issue. And then the mitigation and how can we like work on the default password? So always encourage as well as to change the default password. Maybe try to ensure like probably user to change the default credentials during the initial share. Just most of the time, no matter just like if you bought a router, they'll ask you to do that, and then maybe once you add some new camera, maybe they ask you, okay, at least change the password, and they ask like for they will check the strength of the password. So it's a strength enforcement. So they ask like for the strong password with the like combination including uppercase, lowercase number, some symbols. But as what I like to share because like in cybersecurity I mentioned this one because if you have a short combination compared with a long password with just even lowercase letter, a longer password will be better because we can calculate. So if let's say we have 24 letters, okay. But if we make it like maybe to 30 digits, like 30 letters to form it, and compared to only 8 letters of like combination like uppercase, so it will be like 24 power to 13. But if for the lowercase, uppercase 26, 26, 52, and then numbers only 9. Okay, and then some other symbols, some other symbols is not that really special. So maybe the range will be like 60, 70 password. Okay. Okay, so it will be like this. And then for the multi-factor authentication, so we can use the MFA. So whenever possible to increase, it will make the user have a poor experience to access, but it can increase the security. So here's the reason. Okay. And the next will be the insecure APIs, what we talk about, because the API will be called application programming interface. So it allows different software system, like especially for our IoT, so we can communicate with each other. Like especially we need to post the data into to the cloud, like Surface apps or other device controlling some lights or fetching the temperature data or this. Okay, and then for those insecure API was the vulnerability like increasing the insufficient authentication, so only lack of proper like access control. So they allows some unauthorized user to kill or manipulate the data. So it makes it like possible being attacked. Okay. And then next will be the expose the endpoint, because if they didn't secure it, then it will export the API directly to the internet. So it will allow the attacker to discover the all the endpoints directly. And then this is before we the pretty common a popular smart home company. So they suffered the breach. So because they API didn't implement an adequate secure measure, so it allowed attacker to access their personal information of 1,000 of like customers. So it's really happened. And then the mitigation, and it will be always like how can we do that? Would be try to add the strong authentication, maybe with the OAuth or API token to secure the access, let them use connection, and then try to use the HTTPS. We try to add the certificate for the API communication, and then try to get the rate limiting or get the logging to detect some unusual behavior. Because we know all the possible endpoint, and then maybe we know the client list, then maybe we can enter like whitelist to access. So all those, like if they are not belongs to the list, maybe we'll limit the rate of access. Okay. And then it would be like lack of the encryption. So including those like those encryption protects that some sensitive data like being intercepted or modified during the transmission. So if there are many middle, they modify the package. And maybe we need to add the like end-to-end encryption. So we need to make sure the data that is encrypted from the IoT device to the cloud, and then vice versa. So also like preventing the third parties from accessing sensitive information. That's all we need to do. And if those like devices like without encrypted, then they can the attackers can easily just like the reverse jobs or on the sensitive information, or just like especially some like login like the credentials, maybe some personal data if you like maybe username, password, email. Okay. And those like data, if you just like send it as a plain text, like maybe even only the JSON file without encryption, so they can read it directly. So easy to retrieve it. So this causes a problem. And always we say like for the communication, and we always try to add the TLS SSL to secure the communication, and then try to encrypt the stored data. Maybe we can use the AS256 or at least 128. But when using the AS256, it won't take that much time. And we can like just like encrypt all the address like saying on the device, and then try to have a regular key rotation. Now you may see a lot, because when you try to keeping the same key, then maybe like they're able to check. So when you rotate like periodically, then we are able to prevent some unauthorized decryption. So that's how we can do. And as well as say, so I just quickly talk about this one, and because it caused the large scale DDoS attack, and some major website which they were like disrupted, and so we need to know those are risks associated with just a poor secure IoT device. And always remember, okay, try to do is like change your default password, okay, and also try to patch some regular updates to bring some nodes exposed, okay, and some like smart home new capabilities, including some unauthorized access to the maybe some camera, so they can because they can check some like really weak authentication mechanism, so they can see. And because when they implement smart devices, okay, just let use some authentication mechanism directly, then they did with the use really high level. We're thinking, okay, they're using at home, then they may be filter or protect by the filter, then they didn't think about that. But sometimes they try to lift the back door. So always try to do like try to add the multi-factors, and then like regular update the framework. Okay, so we need to design. Later when we work on the Raspberry Pi project, and then I'll let you like when you need to increase the security, how can you check the update, or that means you need communicate with the server. This is what we need to do. And then when we need to like scan the IoT device, like we are like preemptive like security, so we need to identify some like weakness before the attacker do, and also identify some attack vector. So we can looking for some open ports. So that means like we need to avoid like being attacked, that we need to like doing some scanning and penetration testing. So this is the technique we need to use to make sure if there's any outdated software, some misconfiguration, so maybe cause the problem. So including one of it, when we see some communication, like one is the network. So we need to check the devices, maybe like use the and then using MMAT to check all those like connected devices to your internet, and then we can like scan the port. So is there any open port like you didn't close it? And also the firmware analysis. Maybe we need to review the firmware version and check, okay, if they're outdated, so we need to like update. So update. For the next because the coming 1 or 2 labs, so I would like to see your progress if you are able to like finish kind of like set up the quickly able like verify and then connect to the API server and also send the data to the MongoDB. If you're able to complete like within 1 or 2 weeks, so then we will start to use some application doing testing. So if you want to test, you're welcome to try. Okay, so you download it and then to find the internet connected devices and then try to search some specific IoT devices. And we can check. Okay, so and another one, Ahmed, you may be pretty familiar if you're taking cybersecurity. I think we did it, and also networking. So you can like scan those devices on the network and then access some open port. Okay, so for example, like Ahmed, and then we're showing for the port, and then within this network. So we will ping all the devices identified on the local network. So that's how we can do. And then we have more other tools like OpenVS and also the Nessus. So it's okay. So if you are interested, then you can check it. Okay. And here actually usually I prepare all the lab like actually for every lecture like related. So but this one we are not doing in the lecture part, and I'm just showing you. So if you're interested, you are welcome, and you can download it to the IO and Mac IO, and then you can scan it. Okay, so pretty straightforward, and then you can do an analysis. So it's not difficult, and it can help you. So you can refer to this lab, and then if for later for evaluate your settings and then your like did you protect your connection, okay, communication. So here will be kind of end of this lecture part, and please let me know if you still have some issue like working on the virtual client setting. And if hopefully after I complete the 1 or 2 lesson, maybe I would like to meet you like in the in live. So like in real time, so we can like discuss, and then I would like to check your progress, and then if you have any difficulty. Okay, of course you are feel free to contact me and then set up the meeting so I can help you to let you follow your if you have some questions or help you to solve some problem. Okay, so enough it. Thank you.